Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Nomadland. This was written for the screen and directed by Zhao and stars Frances McDormand. The film follows Fern, played by Frances McDormand, a woman in her 60s who, after losing everything in the recent recession, embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. And it's really about her trying to make sense of her situation and trying to find her direction once again after all the loss that she's suffered. This was a film I was kind of interested in seeing. I'm a big fan of Frances McDormand. I think she's a really great actress, and it's just really good to see her in a role like this that really suits her, and she's really captivating on screen. I really loved that. Zhao, this is her second feature that I've seen, with the writer being her first. I didn't love the writer, I liked the ideas in it, and she took the way that she made that and sort of put it into this sort of film. It's really a fly-on-the-wall look at these particular people who live in their vans, who live off the grid, who choose a different alternate lifestyle. And it's really fascinating, this subject matter. Like I've said in many of my other videos, with a fly-on-the-wall type of film, it really has to be an interesting character or a subject matter I can really sink my teeth into for me to really enjoy it. And this is definitely one of those films. Frances McDormand is just fascinating to watch. A great, real and wonderful performance here. She underplays a lot of things. She holds a lot of stuff in. You really believe that she lives this way. You believe she lives in a van. And these great moments in the van, we get to see what she's been able to accomplish in there and create. And we also look at the journey she goes on. She goes place to place and the different type of work that she gets and the different things that happen to her along the way. She kind of keeps separated from a lot of people. Then she ultimately finds a community of other like-minded people, and they come together in this particular spot in the desert and they share moments together. She creates friendships, and she ultimately finds a community that she can become part of, something that she can connect to after suffering all this sort of loss. And she's just so fantastic here. A really brilliant and brave and powerful performance in its simplicity. I'd be surprised if she wasn't nominated for performance here and ultimately win. I think what Chloe is able to do here, she's able to get really great performances out of non-actors. This film is filled with a number of non-actors, but she's able to get a realness out of them. They're able to say their dialogue, they're able to tell their stories, which are probably real by the way they express themselves, in such a great way that it's believable. There's scenes where characters are sitting around the campfire with Fern, and they start to tell their stories of how they ended up here and why they made a decision to live this sort of way. And they're really powerful, simple stories. And they affect you, they draw you in, they suck you into this world, and you feel a connection with the people that you're hearing these stories from, and with Fern in such a great way. I think it's a really fantastic film in that regard. Something about this film I really connected with. I really felt drawn into it. I really felt that sort of way of being. I like the idea of alternative living styles. And I like the fact of living in a van and how it sort of can be difficult at times, but it can also be very freeing and unique and different. And it can help you make sense of things, and sometimes it's the only thing that you can hang on to, a physical thing that you can actually move. And I like that. What Chloe does with this story is she ultimately doesn't show it as a really negative or bad thing. She just shows you the way it is. It's very real, and it shows you what these people go through and what they have to do to live this lifestyle, and how sometimes they can hang on to so much. Like, you see scenes where they've got all these belongings and they're just sick of carrying them all, and they ultimately put them down in the middle of where they are and allow people just to take what they need. It's really a film about letting go, accepting your circumstances, and moving forward in a way that you want to, in a direction that you hope to head towards. I think it's a very powerful film in its simplicity. It's a very real film. It's realistic, and it's showing experiences of these real people who live in this way. There's lighter moments in this, but there's also dramatic moments, and the ability of the director to go from one to the other in such a flowing way is really great. Ultimately, we see a lighter moment where there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a scene where Fern and her new friends go to this RV sort of show, and they get to see these big buses and the way they're sort of surprised by it, and the way they inspect these big buses and RVs. It's a great little moment, and it sort of adds a levity to what's going on. There's a funness to it. And then it'll have a sharp cut to something else that's dramatic. but it's just the way that she puts these scenes together and informs the next scene, and the way she's able to combine drama and humour in such a great way is really a testament to her as a filmmaker. I like to see her do more. I think she's a really interesting and fresh voice out there. I love the fact she won the Golden Globe for this film as Best Picture. I would love to see a film like this win Best Picture at the Oscars. I just think it's very relevant, powerful, and with everything that's happening these days with the pandemic and all of that happened, there's a lot more people living off the grid and living in vans, living out in the middle of nowhere to keep separated and keep away from things. So I think this film is very relevant in that regard, and is a film that sort of really needed to be made and showing these particular people and the lives they live. Final thoughts. In the end, it's really about Fern, this woman who's lost so much, and it's about her coming to terms with her loss and letting go of the past and moving forward, moving into the future in a direction she wants to go. Allowing herself to accept the circumstances she finds herself in and embrace the life that she's chosen to live now. I'm going to give Nomadland 4.5 out of 5. One of the best films I've seen this year, even though it's from last year. It's a powerful film, it's simple. It's not a film everyone's gonna like, but if you love the idea of being free and living on the road and living in a different way, this is definitely a film for you. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe in the bottom. Follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.